Hello, everyone. I'll begin by providing an update on some recent activities of our chapter. As I mentioned last week, we are in the process of uploading recordings of the convention sessions to our YouTube channel. 9 recordings have already been posted, with more to follow. If interested, keep an eye on this YouTube playlist and on our social media platforms to be notified of new releases. On October 8th, our Massachusetts state contact, Forrest Rum, delivered testimony on behalf of WDI USA in support of HB 1772, a bill that would require insurance providers that cover so-called gender-affirming care to also cover the costs of detransition-related health care. On October 9th, Kara publicly announced the launch of her latest book project, Turflandia, How the Global Turban Will Win the Gender Wars, that should be ready for publication by Spinifex Press in late 2026. The project was made possible by a generous donor who, according to Kara, wishes to remain anonymous. We wish Kara and all of the contributing authors as well as they embark on this exciting endeavor. Last week, Redux reported that another female inmate incarcerated at the Washington Correctional Center for Women has come forward with allegations that she had recently been brutally assaulted by violent male sex offender Christopher Williams, who has remained in the women's prison despite having been accused of sexually assaulting a female inmate just last year. Worse, despite the presence of a correction officer 10 feet away, no prison staff intervened to stop the assault. And on Friday, Redux posted a 5-minute interview with the woman, now identified as Faith Smith, where she speaks about her ordeal and admits to feeling terrified and very unsafe. On October 7th, a federal appeals court reversed a district court judge 2023 ruling in a 2-to-1 decision that found prison officials are entitled to qualified immunity in a case that involves providing gender-affirming care, including surgery, to a trans-identified male inmate serving a life sentence for a murder he committed in 2007. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit ruled that inmates have no clearly established rights to such care, though it was not initially clear if the ruling would have any impact on current Department of Correction regulations. Writing for the majority, Judge Michael Park said that federal courts have not recognized a constitutional right to specific gender-affirming treatments and cited other cases from the 1st, 5th, and 10th Circuits that reached similar conclusions. The Department of Justice is reportedly investigating whether doctors at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh are using fraudulent billing practices in order to secure insurance coverage for puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, which are given off-label without regulatory approval to treat gender dysphoria. For example, the billing codes and data show that between 2017 and 2024, CHOP providers diagnosed 250 minors with central precocious puberty at age 10 or older, including numerous teenagers aged 14 to 18, which is well beyond the age at which children are typically diagnosed with precocious puberty, as alleged by the DOJ in recent court filings. Last week, a New York judge upheld a Nassau County law banning men from playing on female sports teams at all county-run parks and recreational facilities. In a decision in a suit brought by a roller derby league, Judge Bruce Cousins wrote that the ban is designed to protect women and girls and allows trans-identified athletes to play in co-ed sports leagues at the county's facilities. And this is a quote: "The court agrees that this local law is narrowly tailored to achieve the objectives and does not categorically exclude transgender individuals from athletic participation." This saga has been unfolding in Nassau County ever since County Executive Bruce Blakeman first imposed the ban through an executive order in February of last year. And finally, you may recall me mentioning 15-year-old Frances Stout, a JV basketball player for the Tumwater School District in Washington State, who in February opted to remove herself from a championship game in protest over the inclusion of a male player on the opposing team, after her concerns about safety were disregarded by school officials. Despite the death threats and bullying she has encountered since she went public with her concerns, not to mention being forced to defend herself in a civil rights complaint launched against her by the school district, Frances, now 16, remains undeterred. Last week, she spoke at a rally, surrounded by a group of men from the community who formed a circle around her to protect her from activists trying to drown out her words. For all the adults who are still too afraid to speak up, I get it. I really do. But if 16-year-old Frances Stout can do it, so can you. Let Frances be your inspiration, as Jennifer Say wrote in a Substack post. And that's all I have today. Thank you.